that? Do you feel better, feeling healthier with that, less 15, 20 pounds off your body?
Yeah, I breathe a lot easier, doing exercising or just walking in general, for a long distance.
First question, what was it that first had you reach out to me? What was it? You mentioned something about a friend. Tell me about that.
Well, I had a brother-in-law, Justin. He had hooked up with you. I think he did maybe 6 months. I'm not sure how long his thing was, but I saw him in December when I came back from vacation, and he looked really good. And of course, my wife was talking to her sister, and and she mentioned that they had a private tutor, I guess and so I thought about it for a while. And then I decided, well, you know what, this is probably a great opportunity to do it. I had the time on my hands, when I wasn't working, I wasn't doing anything. So I just figured for health-wise, I needed to lose some weight. So that was a big deal for me, was losing the weight. Because I'm diabetic, not as diet controlled right now, but I was getting very close to that issue with I had to start taking meds.
So let me ask you, besides that, was there any other reason why you said, you know what, let me look into this whole coaching thing? Was there anything drive? I remember you mentioned to me about time after you get back home and spending time with your family and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I've done the gym thing, floundered around on my own, not really knowing what I was doing. I always just figured I was wasting my time, so it didn't really seem to help because I didn't really know what to do. And like you had explained to me too, like once you hit a certain age, things are different. You have to work out differently. You have to eat differently. It's not like I'm 20 anymore where I can just do whatever I want, drink a gallon of milk and be totally fine, that kind of thing. So I just didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing. I had a base knowledge from being in the military exercise, but that's when I was 20, doing 100 push-ups, 500 sit-ups. That thing just wasn't going to work for me anymore. So I just needed some guidance, I guess you could say, and someone to tell me, hey, this is what you're supposed to be eating at this age, and these are the things you should stay away from, that kind of thing.
Cool.
It was important to me.
Yeah. So was there any apprehensions before getting started? I know after we talked, but anything like, I'm not too sure about this, or, things that you said, is this going to work for me? Anything like that before getting started?
I don't know if there was any worries, just like anything, because where I was, I could have been told to go home at any time. So just that would just throw a whole monkey wrench into the whole mix. I guess that was probably my only worry, just to be able to get onto a program and, like you say, being consistent. So cool. And that's always been my biggest thing, was staying consistent at something,
Yeah, and I'll just say we've been together now for 2.5 months, and you've been really consistent, I would say. And I know there's been, challenging moments, just like everybody is going through right now. But I would say with that, a big thing for you, my applause to you, is that you've been really consistent. Can you share some of the kind of success you've had, just in some maybe aha moments that you've had in the last 2.5 months?
Yeah, I have lost some weight, between 15 and 20 pounds. I'm really not sure. I haven't been able to weigh myself in quite a while. But I mean, that's a pretty big thing, especially starting at 261. At 5'9", that's pretty freaking big, So that was a big issue. So just losing that amount is a good start. Just getting down to where I need to be, So I didn't really have any worries about starting it. It was just, being consistent.
Yeah, great. And then as far as one of the things I thought was interesting is because you had, as far as your setup for food and how you didn't cook, like you had meals prepared for you and stuff. So was that challenging at first, kind of figuring out based on the plan I came up with for you and that we worked out together? Was that a challenge in the beginning?
Not really. It was actually pretty easy because being involved in the military, they're all about eating healthy now. They just don't feed them junk. Fresh vegetables, fruits, chicken. They ran the gamut. Of course, you did have your fried foods if you wanted that, but the choice was actually pretty good, which made it really easy for me because I went off the list of things eat mostly of, that whole thing, and I just picked from that category and said they had pretty much everything that was on there, so that's pretty what I stuck with. Now that I'm back stateside cooking for myself, it's a bigger challenge because now you got to put in the work to cook it and make sure you get the right stuff. And so that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. And then, you know, one of the big things I know for that's worked for you as well as for others is the accountability, is knowing you have to check in, you have to report. And I would say that's one of the reasons that we've seen the success you've had, is that you've checked in when you needed to, you've asked me questions when you had them, and I was able to give you the answers you needed to keep that structure and accountability in place for you to succeed. So it's been awesome. So let me ask you this, on a side note, who would you recommend if there was, you know, somebody that's maybe listening now that's never thought about working with a coach? Would there be anybody specific you may recommend it to? Now, you know, I work with people over 40s typically, so, you know, of course that, but anybody that you think would be good fit for this program?
Top of my head, us old people. So let's see. Probably my brother. He is a big boy, but he's 6'5", but he's like pushing 300 pounds. So he probably could benefit from this. Just in general, if it was a general overall, people with health issues like diabetes, that kind of thing. It's really important. I've learned it's important to get healthy. And that's the biggest thing you can do to help out, is to get healthy.
Awesome. So let me ask this, with that, do you feel better? Are you feeling healthier with that, less 15, 20 pounds off your body?
Yeah, I breathe a lot easier, you know, doing exercising or just walking in general, you know, for a long distance. The stretches have helped out too. I feel a little more nimble, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Maybe not like I was 20, but still a little better, you know. Back doesn't hurt as much.
Awesome.
I have noticed certain things, the stretches does help. The pre-workout stuff.
Great. Well, I appreciate it. That's all I have. Just appreciate it. Any last words you want to share with anybody out there that's maybe, you know, where you were before getting started, where you were kind of in a rut, kind of just stuck?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest advice I could say, mentally you have to prepare to do this. If you're not fully 100% on board with doing something like this, you're just going to waste your time. That's been my experience, just not with myself, but with people in general. If they're not 100% behind something, ready to do it, they will end up either failing or just quitting. So just be ready. Mentally prepare yourself to do this.
Yeah, those are wise words. I remember actually when you were speaking, because it was we were on the call, but I already knew is you were ready. And now it's kind of where I'm at when I get on the call with somebody and talk with them about getting started on a program, is really two things. I only want people who are serious. I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. You got to be mentally there. It doesn't have to be 100%. You don't have to have, you know, full trust and belief that you can do it 100%, as long as you know you need to do it and are ready to take action, and then have somebody come alongside you. And I knew right away, once we got talking the first 10, 15 minutes, you were like, I need to do this. And you're doing it. And now you're getting some great results.